Traveling is a means to success. Do subscribe Travel and Taste channel and like videos. For further videos, stay connected. Top traditional Hungarian foods and dishes to try when you are in Hungary. The diversity and robust flavor of Hungarian foods have surprised many visitors. So if you have the chance to visit Budapest or any city in this nation, be sure to check out the delectable dishes available there. Hungarian cuisine culture is easily identified by a few essential components that appear on every restaurant menu. These ingredients include seasonal vegetables, meats, bread, fruits, and spices, mainly paprika. There are far too many Hungarian traditional delicacies to name here, ranging from flavorful savory dishes to inviting sweet treats. But for the time being, these are a few diverse meals to try out in Hungary. Spenótfozelék, spinach stew. Seeing this spinach stew for the first time might shock you since it tends to be bright green. However, like the summer squash stew discussed previously, spinach stew can actually be very tasty as well as refreshing. As the name suggests, it is full of spinach, but egg yolks, garlic, and cream are also involved. Once you blend the ingredients together, you'll find the result to be very smooth and creamy. Serve it with soft-boiled eggs to get the full traditional experience. Kurtos Kalacs, chimney cake. More likely than not, you've never seen or heard of a chimney cake before. While it might not be very popular in other countries, this pastry is one of the oldest desserts in all of Hungary. It is unique because of the way it is cooked and how it looks as a result. To cook this pastry, you will need to wrap dough around a cylinder and cook it over an open fire. As it cooks, sprinkle some sugar over it. As the pastry cooks, the sugar will agar slightly and leave the pastry with a delicious sweet flavor. Tökfozelék, summer squash stew. What if you aren't looking for a winter soup but instead are looking for something a little more summery? This summer stew might be your answer. This is one of Hungary's most popular stews, and it is certainly a dish where you can get your fill of vegetables. The main component of this dish is squash, and it is filled with sour cream and dill. Sometimes, meatballs are added, but you can leave these out if you are trying to avoid meat. With its impressive vegetable content, it can be a surprisingly refreshing stew. Pacal, Pörkölt, Hungarian tripe stew. Even though tripe is essentially cow stomach, don't let that deter you from trying this stew. You'd find yourself surprised how tender and flavorful tripe can be when compared to beef or any other meat. Tripe stew has long been passionately enjoyed by the lower class in Hungary, but today it is popular among every class. Beyond the tripe, it is full of paprika and sliced potatoes. If you want something that will keep you full for a long time, it's this stew. Korhelyleves, sauerkraut soup. If you don't like sauerkraut, you might want to pass up this soup. On the other hand, if you love sauerkraut, you'll find yourself in heaven. This is yet another winter soup, and many Hungarians believe it has the capacity to knock you back to your senses even if you have the most intense of hangovers. Beyond the sauerkraut, this soup is full of sausage and a thick sour cream broth. Meggyes Rétes, sour cherry strudel. You've already heard about the sour cherry soup, but what about the sour cherry strudel? Sour cherries might not sound like the most delicious type of cherries, but their mix of sour and sweet gives them a deliciously unique flavor. However, they are seasonal, so if you're in the wrong season, you might have to get them canned rather than fresh. The cherries are wrapped in a flaky strudel, but they're not in the strudel alone. They are usually accompanied with poppy seeds for extra little bursts of flavor. Lechó Ratatouille. Here is yet another dish that is best known for coming from France but is also very popular in Hungary. This dish is full of thinly sliced peppers, tomatoes, and onions. For flavor, garlic and paprika are thrown in as well. Everything is then sautéed in oil or lard. This makes it a little greasy, but full of flavor. With this dish, you'll also have the freedom of serving it as a meal or a side dish. Dobos Torta, Dobos cake. What if you're not looking for a savory meal but instead want something sweet for dessert? Dobos cake is certainly sweet, but it comes in such large portions that it can be a challenge to deal with. It is one of Hungary's most famous desserts and is more than 100 years old. It is made of several layers of sponge cake and chocolate layered on top of each other. If that isn't enough sugar for you, the top of the cake is usually covered with caramel. Make sure to take someone with you if you plan on trying to tackle this monster of a cake. Bácskai Rizses house, pork rice pilaf. If you're in the mood for rice pilaf, Hungarian cuisine has what you need. When cooking Hungarian food like this, be sure to set aside plenty of time because you'll need it to prepare this dish right. Beyond the pilaf, you'll need to prepare a rich mixture of stewed pork. Then, mix the pork and the pilaf together. Once the dish is done, many love to grate some cheese on top. Orjaleves, pork bone soup. If you love soup, why not try pork bone soup? After all, any kind of bone soup is full of health benefits, not to mention that it tastes delicious. This kind of soup in particular has a long history in Hungary and spans all the way back to an old tradition where a pig would be slaughtered every year for a festival feast. Since the base of the soup is pork bones, you can add whatever else you want to it. Noodles, vegetables, and meat are all popular options. Somlói Galuska, Hungarian trifle. If you're looking for something decadent and sweet, don't forget to check out this Hungarian trifle. Somlói Galuska consists of 3 layers of sponge cake, each layer of a different flavor. Between those layers are layers of custard along with rum-soaked raisins. This trifle is often topped with whipped cream and drizzled with chocolate sauce. Túrós Csusza, pasta with cottage cheese. If you want something cheesy and filling, Túrós Csusza is exactly what you need. This is a very old-fashioned traditional dish made with noodles and cottage cheese or various curd cheeses. The dish is best when the noodles are homemade and small in size. For toppings, many Hungarians love crumbs of bacon, sour cream, and salt. Lángos, deep-fried flatbread. If you want something bready instead of meaty, try this fried flatbread. In Hungary, you'll find that Lángos more of a street food than a meal you'll also find in many Hungarian restaurants. It is crispy on the outside while soft on the inside. Many people love to eat it with cheese sprinkled on top. You could also eat it with sour cream for a bit of extra flavor. Jókai Bableves, Jókai bean soup. This bean soup is perfect for winter because of how rich and filling it is. It is also full of warm and smoky flavors that are sure to warm up even the coldest evenings. Jókai Bableves is full of smoked pork and sausage, egg noodles, and pinto beans. More often than not, the soup is served with a dollop of sour cream on top. Meggyleves, sour cherry soup. Sour cherry soup may sound strange if you've never heard about it before. Is it a dessert, or is it dinner? While this soup may seem like a dessert to non-Hungarians, you are actually meant to eat it before your main meal like any other soup. It includes sour cherries, sugar, and sour cream. The sour cream is usually served on top and the soup itself is cold. Pörkölt, meat stew. If you're looking for a dish that is especially savory and filling, this meat stew might be perfect for you. The stew is very versatile in that it can be made with any kind of meat you prefer. The meat is cooked with onions, tomatoes, paprika and vinegar to make a delicious thick sauce that is served over noodles, spätzle. You can add any type of vegetables you like. Many people find it to be very similar to goulash. Because of this, many restaurants from Budapest and beyond don't make a distinction between this meat stew and goulash. Töltött Káposzta, stuffed cabbage leaves. Stuffed cabbage leaves are common all across Eastern Europe, not just in Hungary. This dish is not all that different from the meat pancakes discussed earlier except that cabbage leaves are used instead of pancakes. For this reason, this meal can be a great idea if you're trying to lose some weight. The cabbage used should be cooked and pickled. To fill the leaves, you'll need minced pork, paprika, and rice. You'll find this dish to be especially common during the holidays, although it remains common throughout the rest of the year as well. Hortobagyi Palacsinta, meat pancakes. Many people think of pancakes as something sweet to eat for breakfast, but Hungarian meat pancakes are quite different. First, you'll need to make a few thin pancakes to start the dish off. For the filling, you'll need a savory mixture of chicken or beef minced into small pieces. After that, fill the pancakes with the meat and wrap them up like burritos, and then bake the whole thing in the oven. While the pancakes cook, don't forget to make a creamy paprika sauce and serve the dish with a healthy serving of sour cream. Csirke paprikas, chicken paprikás. Chicken paprikás is the favorite dish of many, even non-Hungarians. As with the fisherman's soup, chicken paprikás tends to be startlingly red, and it is all because of the paprika. Besides the paprika, there are onions, tomatoes, garlic, and sweet peppers. To make the dish creamy, you will need to add sour cream. Chicken is the most popular choice for this dish, but some people prefer veal. To make the dish more filling, it is filled with delicious and chewy dumplings. Halaszel, fisherman's soup. The name fisherman's soup may not sound the most appetizing, but when made the right way, this soup can be astoundingly delicious. It is a very popular dish, much like goulash. Traditionally, it is cooked over a fire in a kettle, although if you're making this at home, you can settle for your stove. Various types of fish may be in this soup. Some of the most common fish include carp, perch, or catfish. Traditionally, this soup is rich in paprika, which is why it is often bright red. Some variations of this soup may use multiple types of fish instead of one. Other variations may serve this soup with pasta. Gulyás Goulash. If you ever visit Hungary or go to a Hungarian restaurant, it will be impossible to avoid goulash. This is because goulash is one of the most popular Hungarian dishes around. Goulash is a hearty and warm stew filled with beef, paprika, onions, and potatoes. The big benefit of goulash is that the ingredients required to make it render it a very affordable dish. More than that, it is very filling and full of flavor. Different regions of Hungary may have their own twist on goulash. For example, some regions may use carrots while others may throw in some pork. However, more often than not, goulash will be made with beef. Instruction before eat: check food is halal or haram. Do subscribe Travel and Taste channel and like videos. For further videos, stay connected.